With you, what do you think gave you that boost to do what you're doing right now?
I honestly think, Paolo, it was the mentality change for me. Of course, the confidence side of things came with the games and the minutes and then the trust from coach. But in terms of me as a player, my mentality really changed, and I feel that's propelled me to where I am now and to where I want to be even further in the future. So.
Jegs, you have a bit of a similar situation, but everyone in front of you in the depth chart of Meralco either got hurt or is resting throughout this period. You were given that opportunity, you had to grab it. Just what went through your head when you went through it?
I think like when you see games like that, I think it's just result of hard work. For sure, like James, for sure, like he does everything right on and off the court, sleeping right, working out, making sure you're in shape. And finally, when you get this kind of opportunity, I think it's the natural progression. If you stay ready, stay confident, knowing that you put in the work, I think the results will eventually follow. And to add to that, it's like all the opportunities, from the coaches, the trust that the coaches give you, the teammates have been very supportive as well. So it's all like, everything added up together to, show these results.
Yeah, you talk about sleeping right. I know this guy sleeps right. I've seen him shop for a mattress. But, you take a look, James, at your team in particular.
Yes.
Again, a great win streak that you guys have, and mainly attributed to the fact that your core is still active and you're allowed to be alongside that group. A lot of teams, a lot of players have found different ways to make do with, lesser rosters. But you're shining amongst the stars of your team. First of all, how does that make you feel in terms of your belongingness with the team? And is that the real reason why you are now on that 8-game win streak?
Well, I mean, for one, hearing it from you like that, that's a blessing, man. That's an honor to be playing, amongst the stars in my team. The likes of Paul Lee, Calvin the other game, your Mark, guys like them. I feel like it's just, this was part of the plan all along for us at Magnolia. Coming into the PBA On Tour, Coach Cheeto really put into everyone's minds that we're not taking this lightly. We're using this as true preparation for the next conference because pretty much he told us, guys, we don't have picks. What we have here, who's coming to practice now, this is what we're working with.
Yeah.
So he doesn't care about really the other teams. All he cares about is working on our chemistry, our core, and our team. So.
And James, that showed a lot actually in this whole On Tour. You guys are playing like a well-oiled machine. But for you personally, I just want to ask you, was there a moment like in this PBA On Tour where you were like, okay, I think I'm kind of getting my rhythm, my confidence? Was it like a bucket or two, like back-to-back buckets, or a block?
I think honestly, one of the big moments was when guys just started passing me the ball.
Like when Paul Lee usually takes shots, like gives you the ball,
they're passing it to me now.
What was the difference before? Did you used to ask for a ball and it never arrived?
Yeah. I'll be honest, I think it's just my teammates trusting me more now because they've seen, like that's Diego huge. Said, they saw me put the work in, like day in and day out, and before, they'll just take that shot. They take that shot. They go for that layup. But now that they've seen what I can do, they see that, I can jump it off to James right there. I can go for a shot, fake, and pass it in like what Gio does. Because now I can actually catch it.
Yeah.
Like Jarek, he would tease me. He'd say, man, before, that ball would hit your face. That ball would go here, there. Now we're
better hands.
The rocks, better hands.
Better hands. So I want to ask you about this guy because he dropped 22 on you. All right. I mean, what does it mean to see a guy like that who hasn't had the opportunity before really grab that? And is that the magic of the PBA On Tour for you?
I think that is part of the magic of this On Tour, and I think it's also great that they're doing something like this because it gives people of all walks of life this opportunity. And like Diego did, he came in and dropped 22 on us. And for us, being a defensive juggernaut in Magnolia, 22 is like 40 points, So it's like,
it's not, all right? But I get you. I love, can I just say, I love the graphic that we have right there. It just says right there, Diego Dario erupts with 22 points for Magnolia. But Jegs, you take a look at that game in particular, and it's not just that game that you've been doing well in. You've also done a lot of things. You mentioned that you're focusing a lot on defense. Talk about this coaching staff. It's new look compared to what we're used to.
Right.
How have they developed you and the rest of the team to try and look and do something different next conference?
Yeah, I think Coach Luigi Trillo and Coach Nenad they've been very supportive with all the players. They just basically want everyone to develop. Us learning the system with this on tour, and eventually, when we do the right things on the court, I think the wins will come, and they know that for sure. We've been studying film a lot, working on skills a lot, and I think that's the culture that they're trying to set. Just trying to continuously get better as the game progresses, as the conference progresses, and eventually when the real conference starts, that's when we start to get wins.
All right, so real quick here, James, I'm sure you've seen your tape. I'm sure you like what you see. But what do you think you need to work on even more to make sure that this translates in the next conference?
I think it's exactly that. I just got to keep working on my consistency.
Yeah.
Not be fazed about what's going on around me, what things I can't control, because that's something I struggled with in the past. Focusing so much on the outside noise that I'm not focusing on the main thing. And I feel like as long as I keep chipping away at myself, I think it'll translate to the conference when we have imports and some of the other fellas are back from Gilas and all that. So.
All right, so let's see how that will happen. Of course, we're going to be really excited for you and the rest of the guys, especially you, Jegs, because a little biased.
I just hope
you're on the
James
show a
doesn't
lot.
set solid screens on me the next game or something.
I want to see him block you. I just want to see that happen, like maybe a couple of times. But James, don't go away because we have a lot more. Jegs, stop being an analyst, stop being a guest, be a host.
Back to hosting. All right, after the break, we'll get some first impressions on the Summer League performance of the NBA's most hyped prospect in recent memory. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game. Welcome back, you're watching The Game. After drawing the attention of the basketball world to the Summer League, number 1 overall pick Victor Wembanyama has wrapped up his Summer League run with the Austin Spurs. Still with us to give his thoughts on Wemby's performance is PBA big man James Laput. And James, you could probably relate a bit to Victor Wembanyama having that much upside, and then now finally playing in the pros. But when you
Literal upside, by the way.
literal upside, right? Like compared to the size, the height. But
Oh, gosh.
how special is this? Like Victor Wembanyama, his athletic ability, his length, and then seeing what he can do inside the
Right.
court.
I mean, I've listened to a lot of podcast analysts on this
Right.
guy, and now I've seen him play too on a TV, not in
Yeah.
person. But I got to give it to him. He's got so many different things about him which make him one of the greatest, if not possibly the greatest prospect
Right.
of all time, alongside LeBron. Because this guy, think about it, he is 7'5".
Yeah.
He has a great shooting form, great touch. He's got length, speed, quickness. He has everything you'd have on a my player.
Exactly,
Honestly.
like
Yeah.
a created player. Yeah.
Now, like, when it comes to his game and what we've seen so far in Europe, like, that's something you don't see in a 7'5" guy, ever.
Yeah. And just to add on that, by the way, we said Austin Spurs a while ago. We mean San Antonio Spurs. Sorry, bro. But you take a look at the way that he's played. The first game, a bit of a disappointment again,
Right.
going 2 of 13 from the field. But then improved scoring next time. But then the playmaking wasn't there; it disappeared. Is this, you feel, what we're seeing right now in terms of him adjusting to the American game after spending his whole life in Europe?
Without a doubt, this is the adjustment period, and what we're seeing is that there are going to be games, I'm sure he's really quiet in terms of maybe, say, playmaking or field goal percentage. But then there's games where he'll erupt for maybe, 20, 15, and 5 blocks.
Right.
But that's part of that adjustment process. And I feel as a professional, we all go through it, in
Yeah.
all fields. So this is what he's doing.
Let's talk about like his defense, though. I mean, I
Yeah.
think what has been consistent for the past 2 games was his defense. Being there inside the paint, protecting the rim. I think that would be a consistent number for Wemby.
I think out of all things, if he fails at everything,
Right, yeah.
at shooting, at dribbling, driving, rebounding, all that aside, he's still going to be an elite rim protector
Facts.
in the NBA.
So he's basically Rudy Gobert.
Rudy Gobert, but can shoot the ball and can dribble the ball.
yeah. So
Oh, man,
either way,
that's-
he's going to get paid, man.
Yeah, yeah, because they paid Rudy, and I know obviously. But then you take a look right now. You mentioned it a while ago, and before we let you go, this is the question for both of you. Really, you said the most exciting prospect since LeBron. Everyone agrees with that. But if you put them both in the same draft class, who would you pick first? A LeBron James
that's a tough question.
or a Victor Wembanyama? Where are you at?
And we don't know what's in the future.
Yeah.
I gotta say, still LeBron.
LeBron, how about you?
I think since we don't know the future, I might have to go with Wemby.
Oh.
Just because like we still don't know what's gonna happen yet with that guy. So
Do you take though the fact that everyone's saying that his ceiling is that much that he could be a game-changing talent?
And that's the thing, he's generational, game-changing. That's the ceiling. That's the crazy part about it.
you're right.
And the floor is Rudy
If he-
Gobert.
if
Floor
he
is
was healthy.
Gobert.
Yeah.
And Gobert and Porzingis. That's the floor.
probably, yeah.
That's
Okay.
probably
If he
combined.
stays healthy
that's the
too.
floor.
Yeah,
If
if
he
he
stays
stays healthy, of
healthy,
course.
yeah.
Health, health willing. And we're going to assume that he stays healthy because that's what we wish for all of them. James, we really appreciate you being here. Hope we made your trip here worth it. First time here in the studio. Really want to have you back next
Thanks
time.
for the time,
Thanks,
bro.
guys.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
fellas.
So after the break, we'll hear stories of Jamie Malonzo's journey back home and the doors that it opened. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game.
Welcome back, you're watching The Game. Gilas women's under-16 team showed their dominance on the hardwood as they take their first victory in the 2023 FIBA Under-16 Women's Asia Championship. The girls ended with a huge margin over Hong Kong as they finished 79-40. Ava Fajardo stood tall as she led the game in scoring with 17 along with 6 rebounds, 4 steals, and 3 assists. Gilas women's under-16 team is set to face Maldives tonight, 8:30 Manila time.
Now, what started out as a mission to trace his roots turned out to open incredible opportunities for Philam Jamie Malonzo. After an incredible run with Barangay Ginebra, Malonzo is off to chase even greater heights with Gilas Pilipinas.
Jamie Malonzo wanted to know more about his Filipino roots.
I think I had a small league here in Lithuania, and then I also had small in Italy. But then, for some reason, it just felt sort of more to me to play for my home country, figure out where my mom's roots were and what she experienced growing up. So at the time, that sort of was more important for me to go experience that.
After finishing up his studies in the U.S., the high-flying wingman decided to move to Manila and play in the UAAP for the LaSalle Green Archers.
When I finished college, it was in the States, so I was sort of, wondering what I was going to do next. Oddly enough, I was getting recruited to, I always knew the Philippines and the PBA, and I was getting recruited at the time by Danny Siegel and Banjo Albano to play at LaSalle. So then I did that. Had a good experience there, sort of loved it, and then I continued into the PBA, and that was the start of my journey.
After being selected second overall by Northport in the 2020 PBA draft, he ultimately found himself traded to Ginebra.
Biggest difference I would say that I've noticed with my adjustment to the team is sort of, you're sort of in a winning culture. You have to show up day in and day out, Some days I felt like before, you could take plays off, get away with things. But when I came to Coach Cohn's offense and defense in the system, I realized, you can't really take plays off or else you'd be letting your teammates down.
Playing under a detail-oriented coach in Tim Cohn, Malonzo admitted that it was not easy at the start.
Coach Cohn let me and Jeremiah know that, we have a lot of learning to do. So just slowly over practice and slowly over time, slowly after being with the team and learning and just soaking it in like a sponge, you sort of just get the feel for it over time. I know with me, it was hard because I was learning as we're a season, a conference. I just try to do my best every day, and Coach just always, told me I'll get there, you'll get there. All the players, Jared Dillinger, all my vets, they helped me out every day. So yeah, just putting in the work took a little bit. I honestly didn't feel comfortable until after we won the championship.
Now, as a part of the Gilas Pilipinas pool, he's playing alongside Ginebra teammates Chapit Aguilar, Scotty Thompson, and Justin Brownlee with Cohn as one of their assistant coaches.
We take a lot of things from Ginebra and we bring it also over to our Gilas team. When Coach is describing something in our, for say, defense, you sort of already know what he's talking about and have a good idea. He'll oftentimes, use Scotty and Japith as examples because they know what's going on and they know what Coach Cohn's system is. So yeah, we take a lot of things from the Ginebra and we bring it over to the Gilas, and of course Coach Cohn's stuff is always good for our team. So.
After he started playing for Gilas, many fans compared him to an all-time great in Gabe Norwood.
It means a lot, he was the one that sort of paved the way for guys like me coming in, So being able to fill in some shoes like that means a lot, honestly, and I truly hope that, I'm able to fill in those shoes wisely, greatly.
Malonzo is not shying away from the comparison as he instead uses it as a standard that he could chase.
Hopefully, get some poster dunks like Gabe did for sure. So, obviously some big shoes to be filled, and it's exciting, and shout out to Gabe.
Malonzo has felt what it's like to play in front of a packed Philippine arena with the unbelievable support from Filipino fans.
To be honest, it didn't feel any different. I think just having the Filipino side, the Filipino crowd on your side. We had it with Ginebra against the Bay Area. And then it honestly felt very similar when I was with Gilas. Maybe because it was Scotty and JB was out there as well, and then you had Japeth. So just a different colored jersey, but it was the same feeling, to be honest. So yeah.
He's hopeful that the next time he visits that arena again will be for the FIBA Basketball World Cup.
It's amazing. Very exciting. Never would I have thought that I would be playing for the Philippines while they're hosting teams like Team USA and all these other great countries. So it's honestly exciting. Still trying to soak it in. I'm excited to see how it's going to happen. Obviously, you're going to have a bunch of big names in Manila. So I'm excited. I'm sure everyone else is.
From Kaunas, Lithuania, Carlo Pamintuan.
Gilas Pilipinas is headed to the biggest basketball stage, and this is your chance to witness basketball history live and in person with the FIBA World Cup single-day pass.
Nothing beats watching the FIBA World Cup live and in person. Buy your single-day pass and get access to 2 live games of the FIBA Basketball World Cup for as low as 999 pesos. Enjoy this world-class game viewing experience for the entire family and witness the greatest basketball athletes in the world compete for as low as 999 pesos for 2 games. Head to philippines.worldcup.basketball for more information, ticket types, seat information, and other special offers. Be a part of Philippine basketball history and buy your tickets today.
And that's it for tonight. Thank you for joining us. I'm Diego Dorio.
Catch us weeknights here on One News, One Sports, and One Sports Plus. I'm Paulo Del Rosario, and this has been The Game.